Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. Every day we wake up on Twitter and in the world, and everyone is wanting to know where Brian Laundrie is. Gabby Petito went missing and hadn't been seen for weeks. She had been reported missing on September 11th on September 10th by her mother, Nicole, in New York. By September 11th, Northport PD was on the lookout for her and trying to make contact with Brian Laundrie, and never actually made contact with him. Well, we haven't been told. They still won't specify if they ever physically saw him, but they never got him to speak to them. And then by September 17th, he was missing. His parents reported him missing. Later that weekend, they ended up identifying and finding Gabby Petito. And Brian has been gone ever since. There has been multiple FBI visits to the Laundrie home. There has been a full-on raid where they took out boxes and boxes of stuff from the home. They have been back to the home multiple times. Only a couple days ago, they were there to collect some evidence for DNA matching. And then there was a big distraction. Dog the Bounty Hunter got involved, and we started looking at what the FBI was doing, and we started to find out more about this camping trip that Brian went on. He and his parents went on this camping trip on the 6th through the 8th. The new details about this camping trip have come out, including that Roberta Laundrie had reportedly made a reservation for her and Christopher to go camping on the 1st through the 3rd, and that reservation was actually canceled on the 31st. On the 3rd, after Brian returned on the 1st, she made a reservation on the 6th through the 8th for 3 people at Fort DeSoto campgrounds in Florida. People saw Brian and the family at the campgrounds, and according to the Laundrie's attorney, they all left together. And Brian's burner phone became a topic of discussion. What's going on with this phone? Shortly after Brian returned from his trip without Gabby and with the van, he and his mom apparently went to AT&T and he bought a brand new phone, which we still don't know what happened to his old phone. That's right, he did have his own phone. In fact, on the August 12th stop that occurred in Moab, Utah, they both had cell phones. And on a police report, it says that each one of them had cell phones in case of an emergency. There's been a lot of questions about why would Brian need a new phone if he already had a phone? And his attorney is not answering those questions. And then today, like clockwork, Roberta and Christopher left the home for about 3 hours. Roberta and Christopher Laundrie got into their car, into their truck, and they left, and they were gone for about 3 hours. Within that time that they were gone, and after they returned, the FBI then showed back up at the Laundrie's home. If you remember, a couple days ago, the FBI showed up for only a couple minutes, and they sort of walked in and walked out, and they came out with a small little envelope, and they said that it had to do with DNA matching. Today, when the FBI showed up, they were there for quite a bit longer. In fact, they walked in with a large paper bag, and we don't know what was inside the paper bag. And they also were carrying what appeared to be DNA kits along with a cooler. The FBI agents were in the house for about a half an hour. They walked into the house, and at one point in time, they actually came out of the house and took a look at the camper that was parked in the driveway. So the camper has been this hot question by so many people. Did the FBI search the camper? Has the FBI looked at the camper? And when they did the initial search warrant, yes, we were told that the FBI looked into it. I think there was video of the FBI going into the camper to look at the camper. And then today, they came and went outside for a very short period of time. They had gloves on. They were carrying a cup, and they appeared to be either swabbing something or collecting some sort of evidence from the camper. And then after they got out of the camper, they closed the door and went back into the house. When they came back out, they did not have the brown paper bag, and the DNA kits seemingly were in a cooler, and the female agent was holding that in her hand. They got into the unmarked car, or the unmarked SUV, and then they left. And so this created quite the frenzy online of what are they doing there? What's going on? Because the last time Roberta and Christopher left, they were gone for like several hours. Not the last time, but when they were gone for several hours, they had gone to Orlando and they met with their attorney. And when they went to go meet with their attorney, the very next day, the indictment came down. So there was a lot of sort of chatter this morning that something big was going to happen today because the last time they left for a long period of time, the indictment happened. Today, they were gone for 3 hours and the FBI shows up. So Stephen Bertolino, who is the attorney for the Laundrie family, began answering some questions. When asked why the FBI was there, he responded to multiple reporters telling them that they were there collecting more evidence to help with canines in the search of Brian Laundrie. There has been a lot of discussion that they are still at the Carlton Reserves, that they have brought canines into Carlton Reserve. I have no idea what's going on at Carlton Reserve. Sarasota Sheriff's Office just said this on Twitter in regards to whether or not they were actively searching in a specific area. And they said this: we still cannot find any question we were asked. Based on an aviation log, we responded to Carlton at 2:45 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. as an assist other agency. Our unit, when in service, responds when called upon. However, we are not proactively looking for anyone. So they responded to calls at the Carlton Reserve multiple times, but they say they're not actually looking for anyone right now. So there's been a lot of questions as what are they looking for in Carlton Reserve? Is Brian even in Carlton Reserve? Is Brian somewhere else? They have been very quiet. The last few days, they've been looking in the water, and some people have said that the dogs are back out there. I don't know if they are. The FBI hasn't really said a whole lot. They could also be searching in places that we don't even know. They could be in states we don't know. They could be looking at campgrounds or at parks that we have no clue or have heard nothing about. So it's hard when you're like getting very small bits and pieces. You get some of the local law enforcement that will answer some questions and not answer any other questions, and the FBI will answer no questions. So the FBI wanted evidence, DNA evidence, and personal material to help with their search for Brian. They needed DNA matching stuff, and then they also needed a scent for Brian. Got it. So with that being said, where the heck is Brian? Your guess is as good as mine. And we do know that there's still this active thing that Dog is doing out in the islands. We also know that Fort DeSoto, Pinellas County sent their surveillance video now to the FBI. We know that people saw the Laundries at this campground. They say they all came home together. The attorney yesterday said that the last time he spoke to Brian was on September 13th. I don't know. This would be a really long time for the parents to hold on to a lie that they have no idea where Brian is. They may not know where Brian is right now, given what's going on. And if they're tracking their phones, they may have absolutely no ability to communicate with them. It would be hard for them to have any communication with them because they're going to be under such a tight microscope by the FBI at this point. And the FBI has also focused a lot of their time and energy into Carlton Reserve, which almost makes you wonder, did they find him on video footage? They have trail cameras there, so did they see him in a video walk into the reserve and they didn't see him leave? Do they have evidence that they've discovered? Even though they keep saying that they haven't found anything, that doesn't mean they haven't. They're just telling us they haven't found anything. They're notorious for keeping things quiet. This is what we've got for today. If you have any leads, any information of your own, and you want to provide that, or if you have any insight, let me know. Make sure you leave some comments below on what your thoughts are. Are they looking somewhere beyond Carlton Reserve? And at this point in the search, and at this point in the case, do you think Brian's still alive, or do you think that he's no longer with us? Tell me in the comments below. Bye, guys.